Hello and welcome to News Desk with me, Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up, there's our patients stranded in various public health facilities as nurses strike enters day 2, with doctors forced to do double work.
This is my first time, but I couldn't access help. I have been turned away. This could be detrimental.
Some of
the patients here are with critical conditions.
But the National Labour Commission has declared the strike illegal, ordering nurses to return to work and resume negotiations. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health alleges nurses are depicting bad faith and willing to engage in negotiations. Also coming up this hour, Joy News uncovers fuel station in the heart of a forest reserve located in the Akomfre community of the Ashanti regions. We have detail of this on our desk, plus business updates coming up shortly. Please stay. And in our first story, the public health system is reeling as the strike by nurses and midwives continues nationwide, leaving patients stranded. Many of them have spent long hours in health facilities with no one to attend to them. The Ministry of Health has expressed deep frustration, alleging that the striking nurses have refused to return to the negotiation table. At the heart of the industrial action is government's refusal to sign their bargaining agreement. Well, let's touch base with our correspondents on the ground and see what the latest is. And right now we go to the Upper West region where Rafiq Salam is. Rafiq, what's the latest? What can you tell us? Rafiq, unmute and speak to us.
Hello, are you hearing me now?
I can hear you loud and clear. What can you report?
I'm currently at the Upper West Regional Hospital where the strike embarked on by the GRNMA is really biting hard because lots of patients that we have interacted with at the facility are saying that they are not able to be attended to by these striking nurses and then midwives. A case in point is that of a 22-year-old highly pregnant woman who suspected that she may have been bitten by a snake this morning, came to the facility and then after being there for close to about 2 hours was sent away. And she told us that she was unable to meet the nurses because she was just being tossed around. She was asked to go to the emergency, from the emergency to the OPD, from the OPD to the gynec, and then she was just being tossed around, and finally they decided to leave. She decided to leave with her husband. When I asked her about where she will be going to next, the husband told me that they don't know whether the woman is really destined to die. Or other measures that they could like to take is to see somehow a herbalist to do this local concoction for her. Another is also a woman who came for antenatal care, and then by name Comfort, and she told us that she came to do weighing for the child, but she was taken away. So the strike really here in the Upper West region, precisely the Upper West region hospital, is really biting hard. But we also interacted with members of the UPNMJ who are saying that yes, they agreed with the issue of the strike, but I think that it is not enough for their mother association to unilaterally embark to declare that strike. And so they are saying that they are not in agreement with this strike. And so they are also going around some of the departments at the hospital here, encouraging their members to work. And so if you come to the hospital here, we are told that when you go to the emergency or also the theater, their members are at post. But this is also what not the full complement of hospital. And so quality of service delivery in this facility will not be at its best.
Well, Rafik, so have you heard from the hospital authorities, even the doctors? How is this affecting their work?
We are yet to speak to the doctors at the facility, but we are told that there are some few doctors who are at post at the facility. In the next 2 minutes, we will try to interact with them to see how things are panning out at this facility.
Right, Rafik. And so that is Rafik in the Upper West region and the capital of Wa, giving us the updates of what's happening there. As you can see on your screen, pregnant women going home, they're not being attended to at the hospitals, telling us how the situation is over there. Now, we head to the northern region with Martina Bugri, who is also monitoring the situation there. Martina, what can you report? Is Martina with us on the line?
Yes, we are the Tamale Teaching Hospital. And for the Tamale Teaching Hospital, we have a group who are actually working. The Union of Professional Nurses are at post, and they are offering service to patients who have come. I'm told that the TTH has about 2,000 nurses who work at the facility. And currently, about 1,000 are the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwife Association, with the remaining 5 groups belonging to the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives. They are at post as we speak now. Doctors are available. So if you come, they take your necessary details, your vitals, and then you are directed to see a doctor. And so for the TTH, it is not all lost. We have a group that is stationed here that is working. I spoke to the president of the TTH branch here, and he says that their reason for working is that they have not exhausted all the channels available to them. They expected that all the nurses would exhaust the various channels, dialogue with the Minister of Finance, who have fixed a date for them to have a discussion before they declare the strike. They think that it is a bit in a haste to declare a strike action when they know that one life lost is a great deal. And so for them, they are working because they think that the avenues have not been exhausted. Now, the registered nurses, I spoke to them also, and they have said that for now, at the OPD and other specialized hospitals, they've redone their service, but they would move into the various wards and get their members out, ensure that nobody is working if their leadership give them the green light by 12 midday as we speak. And so what they are waiting for now is their leadership to declare for them to move into the wards and get the various patient nurses who are stationed there out.
Right, Martina, but then let me ask you, for these nurses working, they do not belong to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, right?
Exactly so. They belong to the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives Ghana.
But is there any form of security for them? Because we understand, I mean, from the health ministry, that some nurses that will be working will be provided with security, so they are not intimidated out of working. Did you see any sign of security in the hospital?
What I understand is an internally security arrangement. And so for the TTH, what I gather is that there is no threat, so they don't even need any security present. And so work is ongoing as we speak, but we also have a group that is on strike.
Right. Thank you so much, Martina, for that update. And we're still monitoring, observing the impact of the nurses' strike in the various regions.
Services have been withdrawn. We feel so bad, so sad. First to the government, because we don't want to feel sad about what the government is telling us. So the government should listen to us so we can smile and receive all cases across the country. Thank you very much. We are not happy they've been turned away, but we are doing that for the government to feel what we are equally going through. Now a lot of nurses are sick themselves. How can the sick take care of the sick? So government, please, we are emotionally, financially sick. So listen to us so that we get the strength to care for the sick. the patients are rather crying to the government to listen to us because they know we are not asking for much. So the government should listen to us so that they can have the full service from the nurses and midwives in Kat and in Ashanti region and Ghana at large. Until we hear from our superiors, of which we are praying. We know the government. We know he loves us and we love him back. So we are praying by the close of today, the course implementation will be signed. And we are full working because we hear the good news to fill our pockets full. So we get the energy to work. So honorable government, we know you hear us. By the close of the day, we want the courts document implementation to be signed. And we are good to go. Well, we are not waiting till next week, my dear. The government will sign. Thank you.
And then my first time, but I'm almost on strike. It's no me and me and Shem. I'm going to scan.
This is my first time, but I couldn't access help. I have been turned away. This could be detrimental.
Because obi nim de okofie ka akoto no.
Obi ho awoyare ne ho mfa no adurasa. Waba hospital.
Some of the patients here are with critical conditions, especially the pregnant women. Some are in their last stages.
And the minister knows without fuel, a car cannot run. And without a proper condition of service, nurses, there's this news that, or there's this communication that has been coming. Our colleagues who have even gone outside, they are even saying that if the conditions of service in Ghana is even lucrative, there would have been no need for them to travel outside. So if government will implement this condition of service and at least make it lucrative for us, the attrition rate would even go down. So it's better for government to implement the condition of service for nurses and midwives across the length and breadth of the country.
And you heard the SFs from the Ashanti region. Clinton Yaba joins me now for updates. Clinton, so tell us, those people you spoke to, at which hospitals did you visit?
Well, I am still making rounds, visiting hospitals, but the people we spoke to were from Kumfanochi Teaching Hospital and the Pampaso Children's Hospital.
Right. And so we had the first speaker, I think, was the nurse there at the unit. Was she stationed at her desk, or she just passed through to come to speak to us? What was the situation?
Well, she is the PR for the GRNMA local district at Kumfanochi Teaching Hospital. And this morning, patients and their accompanying relatives spent the night at the hospital premises in hopes that they could be attended to. But this morning, they are still stranded and camped at the corners of the hospital. And these were the nurses that they were expecting to have attended to them. But they were just not passing, but they are around and not working. And they tell them that their pockets are sick, and so they are not going to take care of sick patients.
Well, did you cite doctors working? How was it going with them?
Well, doctors are, yes, of course, at post, but what is happening is that patients who are there for reviews or had begun a healthcare process just go to the doctors with their results, but there are no nurses to attend to them. And so even after the doctor has directed them to the further office, there are no nurses to direct them, or there are no nurses to guide them. So they have no choice but to return home from the doctors.
Right. Thank you so much, Clinton Yaba, who is with our sister station, Love FM, in the Ashanti region. Meanwhile, here in Accra, Collins Frimpong spoke with stranded patients and the medical director, Dr. Leslie Adams-Zakaria, at the Rich Hospital. Here accepts.
Labor ward, where pregnant women come to when they are about to deliver, we don't have nurses at post. So what it means is that we are challenged in receiving new patients. We are challenged in receiving patients coming from the house to see us. For instance, on a daily basis, we see over 600 outpatients. But yesterday, because of the withdrawal of service, we saw less than 100. And it was even, there was rain, so I'm sure the impact was not felt as much as we anticipate today. The challenge we are facing is that doctors have to do some of the work of the nurses. We don't have rotation nurses supporting us because the rotation nurses are challenged. They cannot work unsupervised, so they are not available. So the doctors have to do what they can do for the nursing aspects and then still do their work. So we are a bit of, we are under pressure. We're under pressure. We hope that things get better.
As I'm being on my country. There's a phone strike into your Gugake. Yeah, tell all the Yaba. Yeah, trail more, Obiam, Dr. Biashon Makashin, She has been here for quite some time now, more than an hour. She came here for a review, according to her, but she has not been able to get any health care from the nurses, and nobody is coming around to tell them anything. All that she is saying is that she is appealing to government to come to the aid, come to their rescue.
Well, the National Labour Commission has declared the strike illegal, and head of our health desk, Fred Smith, has details of that statement. Joins me via Zoom. Fred, what is the National Labour Commission saying? Fred, unmute and talk to us. Unfortunately, we are unable to hear Fred there with that statement from the National Labour Commission. Whilst we work on that, let's speak to Dr. Simon Osei-Frimpong. He's Medical Superintendent of Kwesi Mintim Government Hospital. Doc, we are grateful for your time on our desk. So, Doc, unmute and speak to us. What is the situation at Kwesi Mintim as we speak?
Yo. Thank you, and let me say good morning to your listeners and viewers. The story is the same everywhere. In fact, the nurses are still firm with their decision. So they are not ready to come and work. So when you come to Kwesi Mintim, for instance, you see that the patients themselves are not even coming, because I think they've heard it on the news that the nurses are not coming. What we do around here is to gather ourselves as doctors and other cadres to see the patients. And that is not the best, should I say. That is not the best to do. Why? Because the nurses are trained in their area of work. So they know what to do for the patient. You know, they have that experience as to even see problem when they see patients queued up. They will see which one should be attended to first. Then they call them into the consult room for us to see. So using people like nutritional experts and others to take the role of the nurses is not the best. We are heading for doom, I should say.
So for you in the hospital right about now, how are your doctors handling the situation? Are they the ones also seeing to the patients, consulting, at the same time doing the job of the nurses?
Yes, the doctors, as at now, what they do is that they have the sphinx and other instruments in the consulting. So at the point in time, they might call one patient in, check all the vitals, do all that the nurses are supposed to do before seeing doctor, before they see the patients. If the patients are too many for them, then we have also asked other cadres. We have these dietitians, nutritionists, and others. Because they are in the health system, we expect them to be able to do BPs and others, even though if they don't know it that much, we expect them to do something. So what we do is that we've positioned them at places where the patient load might be too much, so that if the doctor is very busy, they might take these vitals and give it to us to work on. So as I'm talking to you now, the doctors are doing everything, like the vitals and everything the nurse needs to do, and go ahead and see the patients.
Have you witnessed any preventable, complications that have occurred as a result of this strike?
Not really, because we're doing our best. Yesterday, for instance, we had the police coming in with an emergency. So I am supposed to do clinical work and also go into the administrative aspects. But because of the situation, when I was informed that there is an emergency coming up, I had to leave everything, rush to the emergency room, where usually most of you see nurses and others gathered waiting for patients. But when I went there, there was nobody. So we as doctors had to do every bit of what is expected of us to do for the patient before taking up the patient. So near risk, I would say yes, but we were able to take up the situation and the patient survived. But if it should continue, I'm afraid we might have casualties.
Kindly hold on for me, Doctor. And there's a statement from the National Labour Commission on this strike. And once again, we have the head of our health desk, Fred Smith, joining me with details. Fred, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Mami, I believe you can hear me
loud and clear now. Yes.
The National Labour Commission is saying that it received notice of this strike on the 29th of May, 2025. Then on 30th May, it wrote to the nurses asking them to come for a meeting. In fact, all the stakeholders, the Finance Ministry, Health Ministry, and the other unions were all asked to come for that meeting on the 4th of June. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association failed to turn up. All others were present, but they failed to turn up for this meeting. And as a result of this, the commission says it is declaring the industrial action by the nurses as illegal and has directed them to call it off with immediate effect.
Right. Thank you so much, Fred, for that update. But were there any form of recommendations or orders to the nurses?
Well, the commission instructed that members of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association resume work at their respective facilities immediately, and that the leadership of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association continue with its engagement with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on the implementation of the collective agreement and report the outcome to the commission by the 25th of June 2025 by 2:30 p.m. But Mamiesi, as I speak to you, the president of the GRNMA and the general secretary are both not in the country. And so that engagement is quite difficult to happen.
All right, sure. Thanks for that additional information, Fred. We're grateful for your time on desk. Now, we go back to Dr. Simon Asai-Frimpong. Doc, what are your reactions to this statement by the NLC?
Well, that is what is said. But as an authority, should I say, as far as the hospital environment is concerned, we are limited. We work under the regional health administration, and they also take orders from the national level. If you have quite a number of staff taking this decision up, it's difficult to take actions against them. If it were to be one nurse, let's say one midwife misbehaving, it's easy for us to take local actions. But once you have quite a number of them taking this decision and going by it, we would need instructions from the regional level to act. And so it's difficult for us to convince them and call them back to work.
But do you in any way sympathize with them? And are you, in your own way, working around something to convince them to return to work?
I do. I do very much. As we always say, you are one way or the other related to NS, right? We are in the same environment with them. And we see the challenges in the system. I think somebody mentioned that some of them are moving out of the country because they think they need resources to stay and stay comfortably. So in the country, everybody is suffering. So if it comes to the nurses, I also sympathize with them. If something can be done, then I think it should be done quickly for them to return. We need them to save the patients. Our primary duty is to save patients. I am so worried when it comes to the vulnerable ones, the pregnant women and the babies. Very vulnerable. If we should leave them like this because of strike, then it's unfortunate, as if we are not doing what we are supposed to do.
Well,
so anything that they can do to save them and let them come to work as soon as possible.
Just before I let you go, it's day 2. If nothing happens, they do not return in the coming days, what's likely to happen?
As I said, there will be a lot of challenges. The first one, I should say that the patient might not even come. Now, Kwesimin team usually sees between 200 and 300 patients on the outpatient basis on daily basis. Right now, when you go to our OPD, you will not see even 50 people telling you that the patients have already realized the situation. If I go there, they might not see me. So let me not go there. People will be hiding with their ailments, and before you realize, you're having a lot of casualties. That is the first one. The second one is that we are working with inexperience. When I say inexperience, I'm saying because they are not nurses, not that they are not health workers. Inexperienced people, we might have issues when you are working with inexperienced people like that.
Right.
And not to say that, medical legal issues are also waiting for us if there are problems. So we pray everything ends soon.
But have you had any communication with the Ministry of Health on the situation, telling them your issues of the bit about what you just mentioned? I mean, inexperience and all that, unskilled labor in this regard?
No, they are aware about this. I mean, we do general communication as to putting your issues up, people responding to them and others. You've mentioned all these things, but I think they have more information than myself. So we expect them to do the needful.
Right. We're grateful for your time, Doc, on our desk, and you heard the administrator for the Kwesimintim Government Hospital. Trying to manage the situation while the nurses continue this strike. Well, when we have more updates, we'll still keep an eye on this developing story. Moving on, Deputy Interior Minister Ebenezer Okle-Telabi is asking Ghanaians to imbibe the spirit of June 4 by ensuring accountability from government officials. He also wants government to work selflessly towards a brighter future for the country. He spoke at the commemoration of June 4 in Odumasi Krobo.
Was not merely a military coup, but a profound expression of people's will to forge a new path for our beloved country, Ghana, a path rooted in democracy and equity. The events of June 4th, driven by courageous young officers and civilians who understood that Ghana deserves better. They recognize the urgent need for a radical transformation of our society, one that will prioritize the needs of the people over the interests of the few. The spirit of June 4th revolution invigorated a generation to demand fundamental changes in governance, empowering citizens to stand up for their rights and freedoms. As we remember this moment, may we pay tribute to the heroes of this revolution, those who dedicated themselves to the cause of justice, even at a great personal sacrifice. Their legacy continues to inspire us today. They showed us the importance of standing firm against injustice, of holding our leaders accountable, and of dreaming of a better Ghana for future generations. Today, let us recommit ourselves to the ideals that fueled the revolution. Let us strive for Ghana, where every citizen can participate in the democratic process, where our rights are upheld, and where the spirit of unity and justice prevails.
German ambassador to Ghana, Daniel Krul, has recently visited Sherugu and Zoko in the Upper East region to explore opportunities in the trade of straw baskets, and the possibility of making food by blending Ghanaian and German cuisine. Ambassador Krul said he was delighted to explore different regions of Ghana and gaining a better understanding of its diversity and beauty. Albert Sori reports.
According to the German ambassador to Ghana, he visited the Upper East region because he likes to escape the bustle of Accra occasionally. But this particular visit was also dear to his heart because he was able to reconnect with Paulina Adongo, a local straw basket weaver in the Sirigu community in Bolgatanga, who had received medical treatment in Germany some years ago.
The link between Paulina and me is my hometown Hamburg, and the fact that Paulina was in terrible pain and needed desperately a very complex operation, and we were lucky that a non-governmental organization from Germany, Irene von Bodenhausen, engaged herself and managed to raise funds for Paulina to enable her to fly to Germany.
Paulina and her weavers group were later supported with this shelter where they now ply their trade. Ambassador Daniel Krul said, Paulina's story is a testament to the strong partnership between Germany and Ghana, and he was thrilled to see her thriving in her community after her return to Ghana. He was impressed by the quality of the baskets and extended an invitation to Paulina and her team to showcase their products at an event at the German residence in Accra.
I also wanted to offer the team to use my next and last big event I will host in Accra in the German residence, to use that as a platform for them to sell their wonderful products. Baskets are amazing, wonderful colors, wonderful designs.
The German ambassador to Ghana was accompanied by 2 chefs from Germany who were exploring the local cuisine of northern Ghana.
I want to do something with food and I started thinking about where are links between Ghana and Germany when it comes to food. And I recalled that when Otto was a young man, he went to Japan and learned about Japanese cooking. So I thought, take some seeds, some herbs, some veggies from Ghana and blend them with some flavors from Germany.
The German ambassador to Ghana and his entourage also visited the Zokogo community in the Bongo district, where they interacted with women engaged in the processing of shea butter. The German embassy in Ghana funded the construction of this shea processing facility. For Joy News, Albert Sori, Bolgatanga.
Now, Joy News has uncovered a fuel station set up in the heart of a forest reserve located in the Akomfre community of the Ashanti region. This brazen act, official sources say, will power earth-moving equipment which are being used to carry out a reckless destruction of forest cover in search of gold. Blessed Sogan reports from the community where a raid spearheaded by the Minerals Development Fund resulted in the arrest of some Chinese on suspicion of leading the syndicate.
Well, so as you can see right behind me, residents of Akomfre in the Ashanti region are shocked at the revelations of this morning's raid led by the Minerals Development Fund. The Minerals Development Fund, together with security agencies, in the early hours of today, apprehended some foreign nationals who are believed to be part of the syndicate leading illegal mining operations within the forest reserve found within this community.
The community is fed up. And in fact, the communities are fed up. They are fed up that they destroy the land, they destroy the water bodies, and at the end of the day, they're going to blame government. Because they want water, government has to provide. They want this, government has to provide. For these Chinese who said they don't even feel sorry for what they've done. They've destroyed our water bodies. They've done so much. We will also push to make sure that the law takes its course. But if they are going to be deported, it should not be before they pay for the restoration of thing.
In fact, let's hear from the horse's own mouth. Hello, how are you?
How are you?
I'm fine. Are you responsible for what we see here? You? Were you the one who did this?
No.
You're not the ones?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
So what are you doing here?
No.
Does it know English?
You're not the one who did this?
They say they don't understand English.
Pollution? No? Mining?
Luther.
So what's your name?
Luther.
Okay, but you are not the one who did this?
No.
You didn't do this?
No.
So what are you doing here?
No.
How did you come here?
No English. No
you
English.
don't speak English.
Yeah, no English.
Yeah.
No English.
You didn't come here?
No English.
But were you the one who did this? Were you the
No,
one
no,
who
no,
did
Seti, no, no.
You're
no.
not the one
Yeah,
who did
no,
it?
no, Seti.
You're not the one who
No,
did
no,
it?
no.
So who did it?
No, Seti.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. Obviously, these foreign nationals do not speak the language. Let's see if we can. Yeah, were you the one who did this?
No, Seti.
Are you sure you're not the one?
No.
But you can see.
No.
Where's the machine?
Machine, no machine, no Seti.
Oh. So who did this?
No Seti.
Who did it?
Me.
You?
Me house yesterday come.
Oh, you came yesterday?
Yesterday come.
From where? Which country?
No Seti.
Which country did you come from? China?
China.
Oh. So who brought you here? How did you come here?
No English.
We're within the GRNMA Forest Reserve of the Ashanti region. And as the name will have it, it is a forest reserve. And of all the things you'd expect to see in a forest reserve, obviously, will be animals and vegetation cover. But Joy News is now uncovering, guess what? A fuel station located in the heart of a forest reserve. And guess what it is doing? It is fueling all of these machinery and earth-moving equipment that you see in your shots here, ostensibly belonging to illegal miners who are digging deep into the heart of this forest reserve and destroying all that's left of it. And that's why we're here joining this task force by the Minerals Development Fund, led by its chairperson or executive, Hannah Louisa Bisu-Kote, who's very unhappy about the activities of these illegal miners and saying that this should be the point where it all ends. We've been interacting with some persons as well who are part of this task force, finding out what the scope of this operation is and what the implications will be going forward. There's Ogan reporting for Joy News, GRNMA Forest Reserve, Ashanti region. Right. Also.
Well, still on illegal mining, officials of the Takwa Forest District Office are living in fear after scores of illegal miners attacked their office following a crackdown on illegal miners who besieged the Oayong South Forest Reserve on Monday. The mob of illegal miners have since Monday been frequenting the office in a series of protests and threats, preventing the forest office from operating peacefully. Well, we'll gather more updates on that particular story, and we'll let you know about that. You're still listening to Joy News Desk here on the Joy News channel. We'll take a break. When we return, we bring you business. But just before that, Water Aid Ghana, in partnership with Guinness Ghana Breweries, has commissioned 2 water expansion projects in the Nadoli and Nandom towns that can produce 200,000 cubic meters of water annually. Guinness Ghana Breweries, for the past 5 years, has commissioned 13 of such water facilities in the country. These projects will boost water supply in the respective towns, and Rafik Salam has more on that report shortly. Before then, we have Erastus Asari-Donko on that illegal mining story. Erastus, what more can you tell us about that attack?
Well, so for some time now, the New South and other forest reserves within the Takwa enclave have come under attack, in the past year. And forest officials have been able to keep these areas clear of illegal mining. And so they are keeping a monitoring eye on all the reserves in the area the way it is. Now, they learned on Monday that some miners, under the guise of trying to fetch tailings from the forest, have sent excavators in there to do illegal mining. And so they sent a team there, and due to the situation there, they immobilized. They set one of the excavators ablaze. And this angered the illegal miners to the extent that they stormed the office, locked the forest office at Takwa, and prevented people from getting into their offices to work. Now, they've been doing that consistently from Monday. Tuesday, they were there threatening to burn down private vehicles and even official vehicles of the forestry division. And so they had to park those vehicles at the police station to prevent that. Now, one of the manager's vehicle has been slashed with a knife at the tires. And you can see the footage in there. They've deflated the tires, and the officers are saying that they are now working in fear.
Right, Erastus, so does this look or seem like a fight back from these illegal miners, and have the security agencies responded?
Well, so far they've reported to the Takwa police, and it was through their intervention that they were able to drive them away on Monday, but they came back on Tuesday. And so many of the officers are worried. They are not able to come to the office and discharge their duties for fear that they might return.
Thank you so much, Erastus. You keep an eye on that story and we'll bring you the very latest. You're still listening to Joy News Desk on the Joy News channel. We take a break, we return with business.
Welcome back to Business here on NewsDesk. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. Afrexim Bank has announced plans to expand its investment across the African continent, targeting various sectors of national economies. Speaking during a media tour of the Africa Medical Center of Excellence, Managing Director for Export Development at Afrexim Bank, Laurenti Doherty, stated that the bank is committed to reducing the estimated $2.5 billion Africa loses annually to outbound medical tourism.
The event highlighted the facility's progress and underscored its potential to transform healthcare delivery in Africa. Laurenti Doherty, Managing Director in charge of export development at Afrexim Bank, emphasized the strategic importance of the AMCE in addressing Africa's medical tourism challenges.
Our goal is to ensure that we maintain the dignity of our citizens by bringing world-class medical care within their reach. We will eliminate the need for costly international travel and associated expenses such as accommodation, etc., when people go out of the country to seek medical treatment. We will also be putting a keen interest and attention to training and research right here in Africa. Beyond healthcare delivery, we see Africa Medical Center of Excellence Abuja as an opportunity to create jobs within the medical and healthcare space.
The AMC, a $300 million investment developed by Afrexim Bank in collaboration with King's College Hospital London, is poised to offer comprehensive services in oncology, cardiology and hematology, and general healthcare. With a capacity of 500 beds, the facility is expected to treat over 350,000 patients in its first 5 years, significantly reducing the need for medical tourism and retaining valuable financial resources within Nigeria. Here is the Chief Executive Officer of the facility, Dr. Brian Diva.
You know, you said the key word there is trust. So I want to start by saying I've been to, as a patient, to a number of Nigerian hospitals and have been very pleased with the care that I've received. They may not look or feel like hospitals, some of them in the U.S., but the doctors are very good. And so from that standpoint, I think that you've got a lot of excellent clinicians doing the best they can with the resources that they have.
The AMC is set to create approximately 300,000 jobs, contributing to the local economy and fostering skill development in the medical field.
In other development, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries has underscored the need to revitalize Ghana's development agenda with strategic collaboration between the public and the private sectors. According to the president of the chamber, Stephen Mizan Abbas, the private sector is eager and prepared to work with government to boost production, reduce imports, and expand Ghana's export. He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the 5th Chamber Business Awards, slated for September this year.
In recent months, Ghana has recorded some notable improvements in macroeconomic performance. Indicators such as inflation, the exchange rate, and strong reserve holdings have shown promising signs of recovery. To this end, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries has launched its 5th edition of the Chamber Business Awards to champion the call for more structured and impactful public-private partnership. Speaking to Joy Business, President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Stefan Mason Abbas, said government and businesses must strategically work together to sustain the current macroeconomic gains.
With the new governments and a new agenda, it's also important that we whip ourselves in line, we revitalize ourselves to understand the agenda and be able to ensure that we can go along with the agenda, especially ensuring that we can have a 24-hour economy, businesses running around the clock. This is done in other jurisdictions, and especially I'll take China and I'll take Dubai. In the last 40 years, 4 decades, they have been the striking economies that have changed tremendously. If you look at what China has done in the last 4 decades, if you look at what Dubai has done in the last 4 decades, I think it is worth emulating. So it is important that we revitalize ourselves, our economy, our businesses, to fall in line with the agenda of the government to ensure that our economies run 24 hours.
Chairman for the Awards Planning Committee, Prince Akwaku, said the Chamber Business Awards will focus on honoring businesses and institutions that have demonstrated not only profitability, but those that have been innovative in tough times and have kept faith with Ghana.
The peculiar thing about the 5th Chamber Business Awards is the fact that we're looking more at the public-private partnerships. And we think that without the public, the private cannot thrive. Without the private, the public cannot thrive, which means that government's development agenda will not be able to come to fruition until they partner with the private sector. So this particular time, we are stressing more on that level of partnership. We are also looking at innovation, because when you look at our criteria, we have a section for innovation and technology. We have another section for employment and job creation and people management. This year, that will be the main concentration. We know that a lot of the companies have gone through some trying times. So the profit fine will be there, but the profit will not be the underlying thing. The underlying things will be the more in the innovation in the face of all the challenges people have had or companies have had over the period. And then also the way they are able to innovate, they're able to create jobs and also employ more people and manage their staff.
The launch of the 5th Chamber Business Awards is under the theme Revitalizing Ghana's Development Agenda through Strategic Public-Private Collaboration.
That's all for business here on Newsdesk. My name is Winston Taki. Back to Mami for the rest of the bulletin.
Thank you, Winston. Now we go back to the Water Aid Ghana story and bring you that report by Rafik Salah.
The Nodoli Township is one of the fastest growing towns in the Upper West region. Out of a population of 86,000 people that resides in the Nodoli-Keleo district, 6,201 are located here at Nodoli. The Greater Nodoli Enclave depends on the Community Water and Sanitation Agency, CWSA, for water. They have an 80 cubic meter capacity overhead tank that supplies water to 530 domestic customers and 12 standpipes. The daily demand of water consumption in the area has far outweighed the capacity of the water pumped daily from the high-rising tank. As a result, water supply here is erratic as it's been rationed. All, however, will be a thing of the past. Water Aid Ghana, in partnership with Guinness Ghana Breweries PLC, in collaboration with CWSA and the Nodoli-Keleo District Assembly, with support from Interplus Limited, commissioned the Nodoli Water Expansion Project. Under the Water for Life project, 2 towns in the Upper West region, namely Nadoli and Nandom, have their water supply systems expanded to enable them pump 200,000 cubic meters of water. The project will save over 88,000 people in the 2 towns. Water Aid Country Director Ibrahim Fanyi Akofol threw further light on the project.
The focus of this project is really making sure that we are supporting CWSA and our local authorities to provide water, safe drinking water for everybody everywhere. And this year we've done this water expansion with CWSA in 2 locations, that is the Nandom and the Nandoli. All together we are expanding about 200,000 cubic meters of water to 80,000 people in these regions. The hope is that through this project, people will have access to water every day. Young children, of course, don't have to journey for hours to get water before they go to school. Households will have access to water to cook, to bath, to do their household chores. But most importantly, our healthcare facilities that also access water from CWSA will have adequate water to enable them manage their wash, infection prevention and control at the facility.
Corporate Relations Director for Guinness Ghana Brewers PLC, Sylvia Oso Ankoma, disclosed that for the past 5 years, her outfit has identified communities that have challenges with water, with a commitment that they provide them with clean drinking water and also equip them with water, sanitation and health education to ensure that it is a priority for the communities.
13 of these projects have been commissioned across Ghana, mostly in the Upper East, Upper West region. And we've been very deliberate in choosing these communities because they also fall within communities where we source our local raw materials, which is sorghum and maize from these communities. Guinness Ghana turns 65 this year. And it's also our commitment that for the next 65 years, we'll continue to partner with our communities, ensure that their livelihoods are improved and that it's a shared, growth for all of us to develop Ghana.
She noted that the project is also a way of showing their appreciation and to say thank you to the communities that they are getting their raw materials from.
We think in communities where we source our raw materials, we sell our products, we manufacture our products, we ensure that there's end-to-end sustainability. We call it grain-to-glass sustainability. We source our grain, we produce our grains into products that our consumers then get to enjoy, the beautiful products that you experience from Guinness Ghana, which are all locally manufactured from our Guinness Extra Foreign Stout, Malta Guinness, Star, ABC, and all the other products that you know from Guinness Ghana.
And that's all from us here at News Desk on Joy News. I am Amiesi Nyamiche Thompson. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. See you again later.